The grid is more fragile than we're comfortable admitting. Storms, solar flares, and cyber attacks can quickly take down something that we rely on in any moment of our lives. And this isn't just a theory. There are several examples of this happening in recent history. This is Allpowers P300 solar power station that can keep your life running even when the grid goes down. It can simultaneously charge and discharge, and you can control it from your phone. And while similar devices could make your bank crash as quickly as the grid, this you can get for like a week's worth of groceries. Now, Allpowers was kind enough to send this one to me, but I've been using another unit of theirs for the last couple of years, and I'm a huge fan. So let's take a look at this newer model. Now, what's most important when you're talking about a giant battery? Capacity and charging. So this thing holds 256 watt hours of clean energy, and it can be charged with solar or AC right into your wall. It outputs 300 watts continuously with a 600 watt surge, which for the uninitiated, just when you turn on a device, it kind of peaks before it levels out. Now, 300 watts for the practical person, what can that power? Well, a regular LED light is around 8 watts. My MacBook Pro, when it's charging, is around 70 watts, and when it's fully charged but plugged in, sits more around 7 or 6 watts. Our router sits around 20 to 40 watts. Our water filter sits around 25 watts when it's in use. So we're talking about lights and devices and clean water and a mini fridge and a heated blanket in an emergency. Or at home, it works as an uninterruptible power supply, or UPS. And that's because it can charge and discharge at the same time. You'll have this pass-through electricity, and if the power cuts out, it's going to be able to keep your computer on, and you can save your work without losing everything. Then as a fun thing, if you're on the go, you can be thinking about a projector and a laptop, which you can set up outside. Now, if you've also got the 100-watt solar panel, you can charge and discharge, and as long as there's sun, you could have anything under 100 watts running pretty much continuously. For road trips and overlanding, this means cameras, drones, laptops for editing, a car cooler. And for camping, this could charge up GPS watches, phones, or even power banks that don't charge with solar. Let's take a look at the actual hardware and just run around it really quickly. This is 10.2 by 8.2 inches by 4.9, so a little less than half a foot. And it's 8.26 pounds, which when you're talking about an entire power bank for your day is surprisingly light and small. There's also this handle so you can carry it around. It could theoretically fit vertically in a backpack, although 8 pounds is a lot to add to your pack, and you might be better off using the handle. On the front here, you've got one AC port and a DC port for things like a car cooler, 2 USB-A ports, and a USB-C in the middle. Now, middle of what? This screen showing all the info that you could also see on the app. So it will tell you when the AC power is on, when the DC power is on, and when the Bluetooth is on to the app. On the right side of the device, you've got the fan port, which really doesn't make any noise at all. I haven't noticed it. I've even used it for filming in this room to keep these lights on. Hasn't been a distraction with the microphones. On the left side here, you've got the inputs. So one for the solar panels, and then one just plugging straight into the wall through AC. Now on the bottom, you've got a couple of rubber feet, and on the top, you've got this thin little lip. I don't know how well you can see it right here, so that if you need to stack them, you can. Now, I'm actually a huge fan of solar. I think it's a really cool technology. So what I do with it is I set it up in the backyard or even on the roof of my car and just have it charge. Now, roof of my car, it can charge up when I'm not using it. In the backyard, I could set up a solar panel and just have the cable coming through the window so that I can use it as an AC port or charge my devices straight from the sun. Now, the benefit of any product to have space in your life is its versatility. So let's talk about everyday use cases, and then let's talk about emergency use cases as well. We already talked about how it's a UPS, so if you're somebody that uses a PC or a Mac Mini, that can be an enormous benefit without the cost of a standard UPS. You also save 256 watts of power every day on your electricity bill if you fully charge it and fully drain it. Now, 256 watts isn't enormous no matter where you live, but I live in a place with a high cost of electricity, and so even just cents a day makes a difference when it's compounded through the whole month. Depending on how powerful your laptop and your monitor are, you could use it to power your whole desk with the sun. I find that my MacBook, when it's fully charged, and the screen are going to take up under 30 watts. So on a sunny day, when this is taking in 60 to 70, it can charge itself and keep the desk going, which is honestly incredible. It's kind of weird to sit and work and know that everything I'm using is running off of the sun. For outdoor parties, you can have string lights or a projector or speakers and not have to worry about running these long extension cords, which honestly can also be costly. Now, if like me, you're a content creator, you have a way to have a mobile studio with you anywhere that you go. So you can keep your cameras going, you can keep your lights going, you can keep your laptop going in the car when you're editing. And these are all really useful things because if you've got a bunch of cameras and lights and devices, you know the struggle of battery stress. And if content creation is your full-time job, that makes something like this really worth it because you're going to be able to work on site longer and not have to run home to charge or start the shoot again the next day. If you have a road trip coming up, you're in luck because this is going to be able to power coffee machines, small fridges, your devices, and if you mount it to the roof in a safe way, it can charge up while you drive. This is especially handy on interstates where you've got no tree coverings overhead. If you are a builder and tinkerer, you've got clean power in the garage for all of your power tools and devices and ways to watch YouTube tutorials, because honestly, those things take a lot of energy. And this is a situation where you could put your solar panels right outside the garage door and then run it back to this. And the 600 watt surge helps a lot with something like power tools. Now, finally, for families, this is something we do when we go on road trips and they just kind of coincide with when babies or toddlers need to nap. We can keep white noise machines and even baby monitors going in the car. So we've got cameras wired into this in the back seat of the car, and we can watch, the passenger can watch on the screen in the front seat of the car. And if you're thinking, Jacob, just go get a battery powered baby monitor. I don't need to. I have this. This kind of is my battery power for the baby monitor. Devices are great to purchase for everyday uses, but you might be thinking, I've been going this long without it. My devices are charged, my lights are on. Let's talk about emergency uses, which is really what this is for. We can know that devices can be charged indefinitely, even if no power source is nearby. As long as you have access to the sun, your devices can be charged should something happen and the grid go down. If there's an outage, your laptop, your phone, your lights, they can go. And let's do a little math for a moment. So you've got a power bank here that's 256 watts. And let's say you grab one of those standard LEDs, which are 8 watts each. Okay, you turn a lamp on. That means that you've got it for 32 whopping hours, longer than a day. Now, what if you've got 2 lamps like we do in our living room? Well, then you've got 16 watts, and that means that you're going to have 16 hours. Now again, this 16 hours here is longer than the typical amount of nighttime in any given place, at least in the USA. So this means that you can have a full night and then your power bank starts recharging. Chances are it's going to be recharging a lot higher than what it's outputting for those lights, especially if you turn them off during the day. So you could theoretically have an unlimited amount of light if you've got a couple of LEDs going and some sunny days to recharge. Now, where this goes from cool to life-saving is medical devices when the power goes out, or heat. So if we're talking like a CPAP machine or an electric blanket, or even something like an emergency radio when information's so important, this really starts looking worth the price tag, especially when you consider that there are deals that make it $150. Now, it's silent and electric, so there are no fumes, which really makes it the perfect indoor device rather than something like a gas generator. Again, I love the idea of charging it outside, running a cable through the window, and in the winter months, you can actually use weather sealing tape around that cable so that you're not letting in this drafty cold air. Then you've got a plug connected to the sun. Now I have my phone connected here to the P300, and there are a few things I can do that are really, really cool. I can see the percentage left, which depending on the scenario could be life-saving to be able to see from any room. I can also see my remaining time and how many watts I'm inputting and outputting. I can also turn on and off each port individually like the AC and DC, and you can see it enable here in the background, or I can turn them back off. Also up here I can choose what kind of mode it's going to be in. So there's a standard mode, a mute mode, and a fast mode. And that's actually going to have a lot to do with the volume of the device. Let's see if I can get it in focus here. Underneath that, you have something called eco mode if you need it to last longer, and you can even time a shutdown here, and then upgrade your firmware if that's needed. So a lot of features from your phone that make this device not only a great power bank, but a really cool tool from any room in the house. You could even think about this power control as an off switch. If you've got your laptop and desk connected to it, you just turn it off and let the full power of the sun go right to the battery to charge it up. Finally, you can change the output hertz from 60 to 50, depending on your needs. Before you invite any kind of battery into your house, let's talk about safety and longevity. This has a row of LiFePO4 batteries underneath, and they're rated for 4,000 cycles. They say that this will last for 10 years of use, and they have a 5-year guarantee. Now, let's do a little bit of math on that as well. At the time of filming this, this power bank is on sale for $150. Now, they say it'll work for 10 years, so really simple math there. You paying $15 a year for peace of mind. We spend more on Netflix every single month. Now, they guarantee it for at least 5 years, so crank that up to a guaranteed $30 a year. You're spending less than $3 a month. It's like $260. I could be wrong. Don't correct me on it. I'm doing this on the fly. It doesn't change all too much if we think about the actual price here. Without a sale, we're looking at more like $250 for this unit. Again, divided by 10 years that it should work, you're going to work out to about $25 a year. Or if it's the 5-year guarantee, we know it will work, that's going to be $50 a year, which again, we're talking just a little over $4 every single month. If you can sacrifice a Starbucks coffee, you could even get one of these and have no negative impact to your wallet. Now, for the cons here, I can think of 3. Number 1, it's not for enormous devices like an AC unit or a heater. Those take a huge amount of wattage, and so you might want one of Allpowers' larger devices. The second con, solar takes a little bit of time to charge, in 3.5 hours. If you've got it plugged directly into the wall, it's going to be able to input nearly 300 watts. So considering that it's 256, it takes under an hour to charge if you've got the full charge going. When it's plugged into solar, it takes more like 3.5 hours, and that's on a sunny day. The third issue is actually with the app. Not the phone version, because the phone version is incredible, but the tablet version is finicky. And if you look on the App Store, it's actually got a 1.8 star rating, which is not great. But I had trouble just here filming with the tablet app version, open the phone app version. It's great. I've never had trouble with it, either with this device or with the other one that I have, connecting, running, working, settings. It's all great. Okay, final thoughts. Who should buy this? Campers and road trippers, absolutely. For the price and what you get and the amount of energy that you need, this thing is incredible. It works well, it's reliable, it's the cheapest option you'll find that does all of this. For parents, I think it's awesome. I like plugging in our baby monitor to it, sound machines, just knowing that we have some extra power as a backup, especially for emergencies if, we need a heated blanket or to run a small heater for a little bit of time. It's nice knowing that we can do that, especially with the other one. It's a little bit larger. I think it's the, S700, I think. It's got a little bit more wattage, both in terms of what it delivers and what it holds. If you live somewhere there's a lot of blackouts, this is a no-brainer. You can keep working through the blackout. You'll be the star of the show at your work. Somewhere electricity is expensive, that can be really nice. I live somewhere where electricity is like 27 cents per kilowatt hour. If you don't know kilowatt hours very well, that's expensive electricity. So being able to absorb that even just a little bit each day really helps out if you're trying to save a buck or two. People who want a bit of a safety net without the large price tag, this is an incredible investment, especially when you consider that this can input 110 watts. That's enough to keep a lot going. Like we mentioned, lights could be indefinite so long as you have consecutive sunny days. And truly, if you're thinking, I don't really need that right now, I have two thoughts. Number one, it's low cost right now. Price of everything is going up. So if you buy it now, it's going to be cheaper than it would be in 5, 10, maybe even 2 years. Second thing is, this is something that you're going to want to buy before you need it. My family just moved into this new place, and during that I was looking at fire extinguishers and reading reviews. A lot of the reviews were like, I bought this, and then 9 days later there was a fire in my kitchen, and I was so glad I bought it right before that happened. This is kind of the same thing, where you never know when you're actually going to need something like this, and so buying it quickly is a really good idea so that when something happens and you go, oh man, I just need an AC port that's not connected to the power that's out now, this is the solution. I really like Allpowers as a brand. They've always been friendly, patient, and responsive. I've used them for years. I haven't had a problem with this device at all. Extremely well done. I like the design too. The older one actually looks a little older. This one I think kind of looks modern and newer and sleeker, and I think it's an upgrade in many ways stylistically. If you're interested in it, the link is down in the description. I do make a small commission on it, but it doesn't cost you anything extra, and it keeps the lights on around here. But if they weren't on, this would keep them on. Well done to Allpowers. I'm glad to have one. We'll see you in the next video.